There are tons of great reef aquarium lights on the market that offer awesome customization, but how complex should you make it? So I would say for 90 to 95% of new reef keepers, the default settings that come on the light pre-programmed tend to work just fine. So for Aqua Illumination and Ecotech, they also have tons of options inside their library that you can run, and there's tons of forums where people have light settings that they've run. I would just find something that worked for somebody else and use that. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Now for Red Sea LEDs in general, there's two things I typically tinker with on the default settings. The first one is I shorten down the length of the schedule. In my opinion, 12 hours is a little too much on a brand new aquarium. I typically run 8 to 10 hours, and in a new tank, if you're getting a ton of algae up front, you might want to cut it down to 6 to start. And the second thing about the Red Sea LEDs that I typically change a little bit is that their white lighting, when mixed with their blue lighting, tends to give more of a purple color. So on my Red Sea aquariums, I typically run the white lighting a little bit less than what comes standard from the factory. And for Kessel LEDs, they do have a preset tuna blue setting, and that tends to work great for mixed reef aquariums. Now there's two things I generally advise against in all situations. The first one is going to be tinkering too much with the red, green, and violet channels. I'm not saying don't use them, but a lot of people try to amp those up and see if it gets the corals to color up more. You have to be careful with that because that can do damage to the corals, and it can also grow nuisance algae. And then the next thing is going to be constantly changing the lighting schedule. You need consistency. That's why I typically recommend finding a program that works, which is usually most of the default settings and ones shared on forums, and then keeping it consistent. If you want more tips like this, make sure to follow Aquarium Arts.